Singapore, an economic miracle. In a single generation, this tiny Southeast Asian island has made a move from its third world status to first, and is now undergoing a massive transportation revolution, including one of the world's largest subway expansions, also known as the Mass Rapid Transit, or the MRT for short. All this has evolved from humble beginnings. Rickshaws, riverboats, also known as tuah cows, electric trams, and mosquito buses each evolved into an aspect of Singapore's extensive transportation systems.
First introduced in Singapore from Shanghai in 1880, the rickshaw quickly replaced the horse carriages as a mode of transportation. While the rickshaw trade created employment in Singapore, it was suitable only for physically strong men below 50 years old, as rickshaw pulling was strenuous. The typical rickshaw puller was barefooted, clad in a pair of running shorts, a loose open shirt, and a hat.
In recent times, the closest form of a rickshaw that you can find will be the trishaws in Chinatown. A walk around Chinatown will reveal numerous trishaw pullers, bringing their tourists around for a tour of the historic tourist attractions that once housed the Chinese immigrants, not forgetting the Samsui women. Riverboats transported people and goods across the Singapore River. It was the lifeline of Singapore during that time. Now goods transport is limited to vans, and the tuah cows that once graced the Singapore rivers are replaced by motorboats purely for tourism. A Western invention, the electric tram was introduced to colonial Asia in the early 20th century. In 1905, the electric trams started operation in Singapore. However, as the tropical heat and humidity were detrimental to the trams and their infrastructure, Singapore became the first Asian city to replace its tram system in 1927. Mosquito buses, christened due to their reckless driving, were common during Singapore's early days. Risking the numerous accidents that mosquito buses landed in, people still travelled on them as they were fast and took the routes less travelled. In modern times, getting from point A to point B in Singapore is not just easy but also economical. Overseen by the Land Transport Authority of Singapore, Singapore's efficient public transportation network offers taxis, buses, and the modern Mass Rapid Transit rail system. Over 15,000 air-conditioned cabs provide comfortable, hassle-free travel at a very reasonable cost. They can be flagged down 24 hours a day on most roads, with well-marked taxi stands available outside most major shopping centres and hotels. The Singapore Mass Rapid Transit is a modern, air-conditioned passenger train service with stations all over the city, covering a distance of 109 kilometers and spanning 67 stations. There are two main lines, one from Marina Bay to Jurong East via Woodlands, and the other from Changi Airport to Boon Lay. With the new addition of the Circle Line, travelling around the bustling city of Singapore is an effortless task. Transportation in Singapore is road-based and covers the entire city. As roads in Singapore do not cover a large area, one can find the modern usage of toll machines in Singapore. To prevent the excessive flow of traffic into the city during peak hours, the Land Transport Authority of Singapore has implemented this plan to tax the vehicles through an electronic toll collection. The transportation in Singapore includes both the private and public mode of transport. According to statistics, around 52.4% of citizens use public transport. This goes to show how well received Singapore's public transport is. Keeping in mind the needs of the public, as well as the availability of resources, the Land Transport Authority endeavours to reduce travel time by effective town planning, a good network of roads and expressways, and linkage of various means of public transport such as MRT and buses. Within a short span of a few decades, Singapore, once a primitive British colony, has successfully transformed itself into a cosmopolitan city, with one of the most sophisticated transport systems in the world. Truly a remarkable achievement.